Awesome. I got rid of them. Okay, so this is the November meal planning session. I have monthly meal planning sessions on Friday and Saturday. And the topic today or this month is meals that heal, bringing back the notion of Sunday suppers to nourish social, mental, and physical health. So this is Quick and Delish Life meal planning. So I'd like to review the 3 pillars of this meal planning program, which is start and build from what you know. And sometimes we got to go back to basics and just remember what we already know we enjoy in terms of meals and snacks. Planning and time management. If we don't plan and we don't manage our time well, time will continue to pass by and nothing will happen. So we got to make a plan with our intention of how we want to live. And ensuring variety of textures, flavors, and colors, different cuisines to maintain our attention on this whole healthy eating path. So I review balanced meals and snacks in terms of what to incorporate. So this includes plant-based and animal-based proteins, carbohydrates with fiber and energy, non-starchy vegetables, and healthy fats. So to make this happen in main meals, so this is the QD meal guide. So these are recommendations for maybe like 3 of your meals a day or something. Some of you might be eating smaller, more frequent meals, maybe like 4 to 6 times a day. And some people may be eating like 3 to 4 times a day, and everybody's different. And I work with my clients one-on-one to give them specific recommendations. So this is kind of a general recommendation. So plant and animal-based proteins, shooting for about 20 grams of protein or up to 30 for a meal. And then carbohydrates with fiber and energy, somewhere around 1 to 2 servings. And this is depending on your health goals and what you're focusing on. These include beans, lentils, whole grains like wild rice, quinoa, farro, barley, freekeh, teff, and then fruit. So this includes fresh, frozen, dried fruit, and then starchy vegetables like sweet potato, regular old-fashioned russet potatoes, red potatoes, winter squash, which is in season now, frozen peas or peas, cassava, and then, of course, corn. And then non-starchy vegetables having anywhere between like 1 to 5 or more cups per meal. It can be helpful and recommended to have like 7 to 10 servings of non-starchy vegetables a day. So that could be in a cup of soup or snack that you crunch on. And then healthy fats. So this includes like avocado oil, nuts, nut butters, seeds, seed butters like sunflower butter, olives or olive oil. And sometimes the healthy fat is in like the salmon or the sardines. So it could be in something that you're already having in your meal. So I'm showing a pie chart with another way of showing balanced meals and snacks. So including protein, healthy fats, a quarter of your plate bowl cup carbohydrates with fiber and energy, and then up to half of your plate bowl cup container non-starchy vegetables. And so these meals can be enjoyed on a plate, in a bowl, in a cup, like a cup of soup or stew for like a snack or anytime. And then a container that you bring with you, like a picnic, or maybe you go to a potluck or bring your lunch to work. So the topic today is meals that heal. And I think this is, during the holidays, there's more gatherings of, people, multiple gatherings. So we kind of have like a peak of togetherness towards the end of the year. And then, so I like, encouraging you to think about how you can use this idea throughout the year. A lot of times I think we might go out to eat more with people because it seems easier, but I think if we did any of the steps of meal planning together, that would help with saving time, and that would be our social activity or part of it. So cooking is an essential skill. If you're here, you probably already adopt this idea in your life. And we all need to eat multiple times a day. So doing this together would be helpful. Cooking is an investment in well-being. And then it also, cooking empowers us to make healthier choices. So when we know what we're having at home, then that gives us peace of mind. So there is efficiency in cooking or planning meals together. So you could plan like a shared meal together, or you could do meal planning with somebody else for yourself, like your own plans together. Either way could work. So sharing responsibilities of any of the steps of meal planning, doing like the team effort, one person peel the potatoes if the potatoes need to be peeled, one person do the whatever, breaking down all the steps. And then this relieves the responsibility from just one person doing all the cooking. And sometimes there's not enough space in the kitchen for more than one person, but somebody can help with, the dishes or the pulling stuff out of the refrigerator or pulling the spices out of the cabinet, that kind of thing. I have a colleague, actually, she's a dietitian, and her husband, when they're cooking, she stays on one side of the stove, and she just asks her husband what to get out of the cupboards. He's really good at getting stuff out of the cupboards. And then hosting an organized potluck. So we're going to go over meal planning steps. So checking your kitchen inventory. This includes the freezer, the refrigerator, and the pantry. So sometimes we might get more, like we can't remember if we have some cinnamon, is just my example for today, or canned tomatoes or whatever. And then we buy more anyway. And those items are shelf stable, so it doesn't really matter. But if you have 3 bottles of something, then it might be overkill, over purchasing. But if you look at what you have and you're keeping a stock of what's helpful, but using up in some sort of rotation that's helpful, then you're gonna, you're not storing your money in cinnamon. And then brainstorming your meal planning from your kitchen inventory. And then grocery shopping can be done, of course, online or in person at the various stores, as well as you could get, maybe some people have like a CSA or community supported agriculture produce box, or there's also seafood CSAs. It gets a subscription for produce or fish. So putting stuff away. So it could be helpful to, like if you do the grocery shopping, maybe somebody else can help put stuff away, that kind of thing, if you have somebody to do that. I actually, I don't drive, and so it's really helpful. I really like my friends that drive, family, because if we go on an adventure somewhere, I might ask if we could stop by at a grocery store. Say if we were in Marin, and there's a Good Earth grocery store there, and they have really good produce there, and so I might ask if we could stop by there to pick up some stuff. And so we all need to eat, and we all need to go grocery shopping. So it's just a super simple way to make that happen. And I think everybody likes to help. So then there's food preparation. Oh, I did want to mention, it's really important to put things away in a way that's helpful. So sometimes like putting the fresh bottle of cinnamon behind the older opened bottle of cinnamon, just using cinnamon as an example, and then rotating things so that they're less likely to expire before you use them. And then you can see what you have on hand, of course. Food preparation. So sometimes if we're already, preparing some sort of lunch, you could put on a pot of hard-boiled eggs or something like that, or just make something really quickly, so that's an investment in your meal plan food in the future. I'm not saying that you're going to do that every time, but sometimes it works out. And then the actual cooking. Of course, there's everyone's favorite step, which is enjoying food. And that's why you can encourage other people to help out so that they can enjoy that part. And then storage, putting things away. I highly recommend putting food away in single serving containers or in portions of whatever it is, in a helpful, like in a portion that you're going to have with something else, instead of having maybe like 32 ounces of chili frozen in, that might be too many servings, and it might take too long for it to frost, or when you need to eat it. And so single serving is helpful because then you have more options. You could grab it for lunch, you could grab it for dinner, or you could just heat up 3 servings because you're feeding 3 people. And then of course there's the cleaning, and then the cycle continues. So gathering at the table is really significant for this whole shared experience, bringing people together, focusing on connections, creating lasting memories. Of course, this is like what happens over the holidays. And so it's just a case to keep the momentum going throughout the year. The holidays are a good excuse, but we can, do this more often. And creating a supportive environment and shared meals promote mental well-being as well. The one person syndrome, maybe some of you are familiar with this, but I've had some clients in the past say that they didn't feel worthy of cooking for themselves. Maybe they had a partner, their spouse passed away, and so they used to cook for their husband. And now that they live alone or live with themselves, they don't feel like it's, effective use of their time. And so preparing food is an act of self-care for sure. And there's ways to do it so that it's helpful. So cooking for others, continuing to cook for others and just having people over. And then that makes it so that you have some food. You're doing your meal planning, and then choosing meals that are easier to put together, like the assembly type meals where maybe you get like rotisserie chicken and like a can of chickpeas and then like some veggies to have cooked or for salad. And there's like salad kits you could use. And then making multiple meals at one time and then freezing them so that it's time efficient. It doesn't feel like a task. So time with your community. So your community are your people, your friends, your family, maybe your coworkers, depending on if you hang out with them. So as I mentioned, I don't drive. So the idea of like doing grocery shopping together or any of the steps of meal planning, like preparing food, sharing meals. If you have like chili in the freezer, having somebody over to share, or bringing lunch. You could do like a lunch swap at work for those of you who work in person. Planning meals together. And then I love the idea of not waiting to ask for help until something happens. So building in your community, like how do you, like, we don't necessarily ask for help in our culture a lot. We kind of, I don't know, we think we have to do everything on our own or something. And so if there's like a flow that's created within your group of people that you support each other, then that makes it so that when there is a need, it's not because of a need, it's just what you do to support each other. Teaching kids to cook. This is a long-term investment in the health of children or kids. Some of you have adult kids, and it might feel like it takes too much time to teach kids how to cook sometimes because they might be slower at stuff they're learning. They're little chefs in training. But it's a huge investment and their long-term health. And it could be simple, like helping, they could peel the eggs for hard-boiled eggs, or making deviled eggs or something like that, or they could peel the carrots, something like that. And this can strengthen family bonds and instill healthy habits. And there's a lot of research that supports the notion that kids are more likely to actually eat when they help with the decision making of what's going to be made, as well as preparing, and if they know the sourcing of where the food came from, like where the chicken eggs came from, or the chickens, or the produce that they eat, or how it's grown. So our culture has a huge impact on how we eat. As I already mentioned, the food-centric marketing of food and beverage culture is in our face everywhere. And it's not necessarily easy all the time. But there's also food pushers, and they're mostly trying to love us with food. So it's not their fault, it's just what they do. And then there's also this notion of like a scarcity food mentality. In part, there are extreme examples from like the Depression or wartime, and then the recovery from these experiences, there might be more an abundance response. And so that's one of the reasons why our culture today is what it is from survival. And then there's people, like I have friends and clients that say that their family members or friends will say something like, "Are you sure you want more?" The parents, saying to the kid or the adult kid, if they want more, or like food pushing them. Depending on what's going on. "Oh, you look thin," and like encouraging them to have more servings or something like that. So there's a lot of learned behaviors over time during meal time. Some people learn to eat fast because their parents eat fast, or it's not as comfortable, or the environment is not as safe. And so if it's a slow down experience, and then it could harness be a supportive environment for people to try new foods. So how the culture and has an impact on meals continued. So consider how you want to manage the holidays or birthdays or any kind of event. Some people have lots of family birthdays during the holidays. So there's lots there, and you don't have to necessarily, I'm just the idea person here, shouting out ideas to you, but you don't necessarily have to have dessert at all of the events. Could be there, but you don't necessarily need to eat it if that's not what you want. And it's okay to say no, and no, thank you. You're going to love them just the same, and they're going to love you just the same, usually. And then coordinating who makes what is really important. Yesterday, somebody shared that they have a spreadsheet with their family, and they've had the spreadsheet going on since, I think, somewhere around like 2016, and for Thanksgiving or the holidays in general. And so the different family members say, what are you going to bring? And then so there's not too much, there's just enough. And then people put like the hyperlink to the recipe, and it sounds like it's really fun. And then creating your culture, what you want to do, what's helpful for you. And I love the idea of providing recipes, like typing up your recipes to share as a gift. And that's a way of like not having to bring as much food. And people want recipes, like your family members want recipes, or we all have, recipes from our parents or our grandparents that we want to keep alive. So creating a safe space. So sometimes there's conflicting values. Say somebody wants the abundance kind of all out holiday event, and then maybe you want to go more minimal. And so it's really important to have a conversation about that. And I actually have one of my clients told her family that she's going to bring her own food because she's not able to eat the food that's going to be made. And so that's what's going to happen for her. I think that's cool. We need to just do what's right for us, and that's it, while helping, participating in a way that works for us. So creating a safe and supporting environment can actually make it so that people try different things if they feel like they are in a place that they could show up as themselves, and they might actually try making a different dish or try tasting a different food or something. And when the meal environment or mealtime is safe, then there's this cultivation of a connection and understanding and shared experience. And I've seen some it's just it makes it so that anybody can show up as they want to. So in the middle of the screen, there's a QR code. So if you scan it, it'll take you to my YouTube channel, and you can subscribe to it and check out some recipes. I actually have a Thanksgiving stuffing recipe that's roasted cauliflower, and then carrots, onions, celery, dried thyme or fresh thyme, salt, pepper, and olive oil. And so that's my my gluten-free, no bread stuffing, all vegetables. And then this is the information to connect with me. And then I also have a Facebook group. So the next meal planning session is in 3 weeks. It's December 8th and 9th, same time, same place, 12 to 1 p.m. Pacific time or 3 to 4 Eastern time. I'm not sure if we have any central timers here today. And then for the questions and discussion part, which is my understanding the most fun part, is how will you incorporate this notion of meals that heal into your lifestyle?